Saint Christopher, the patron saint of travelers. Here it is, the complete story of Saint Christopher, the patron saint of travelers. Among all the saints in Christian tradition, Saint Christopher is one of the most beloved and widely recognized. Yet, his story reads less like a strict historical account and more like a symbolic and epic legend, a journey from physical might to spiritual faith. His very name tells his story. Christopher comes from the Greek Christophorus, meaning Christ-bearer, the one who carries Christ. Part 1. Reprobus, the giant in search of a master. Before he was called Christopher, he was known as Reprobus, a giant of immense strength and terrifying appearance. Some legends even claim he had the face of a dog. He was aware of his great power and had one goal in life: to serve the strongest ruler on earth. He entered the court of a mighty king, said to be the greatest of all. For a while, he served faithfully, until one day, during a performance, a minstrel sang a song that mentioned the devil. To Reprobus' surprise, the king, who claimed to fear nothing, made the sign of the cross and trembled. "Why did you do that?" Reprobus asked. The king admitted, "I fear the devil. He is stronger than I." At that moment, Reprobus left the court, declaring, "If the devil is stronger than you, then he shall be my master." Part 2. Serving the devil. Reprobus wandered through the wilderness until he met a band of thieves led by a dark and fearsome man. The man claimed to be the very devil himself, and Reprobus agreed to serve him. One day, as they traveled together, they came upon a crossroads marked by a wooden cross. The devil, suddenly terrified, refused to go near it and took a long, difficult detour. Reprobus asked, "Why avoid that road? What is that symbol?" The devil hesitated, but at last confessed, "That is the sign of a man named Jesus Christ. He died upon a cross, and whenever I see that symbol, I tremble and flee." Reprobus replied, "Then Christ must be even more powerful than you. I will go and seek him and serve only the greatest master." Part 3. The Hermit and the Call to Service. Reprobus began his search for Christ. Eventually, he found the hermit living beside a wild, roaring river. "How can I serve Christ?" Reprobus asked. The hermit replied, "This king requires a different kind of service. You must fast for him." Reprobus answered, "I cannot. With this great body, fasting would kill me." "Then pray for him for many hours each day," the hermit said. "I do not know how to pray," Reprobus admitted. "That too is beyond me." The hermit fought for a while, then pointed to the raging river beside them. "Many travelers, especially the weak and the young, die trying to cross this river. With your size and strength, you could carry them safely across. Do this, and perhaps Christ will reveal himself to you." Reprobus accepted the task. He built himself a hut by the riverbank, carved a great staff from a tree, and day after day, year after year, he carried travelers across the dangerous water, asking nothing in return. Part 4. The Night of the Christ Child. One stormy night, as Reprobus rested in his hut, he heard a child's voice calling him. He stepped outside but saw no one. Twice more he heard the call. Finally, on the third time, he saw a small child standing by the river, asking to be carried across. Reprobus smiled kindly. "This will be the easiest journey I've ever made," he thought. He lifted the child onto his broad shoulders and stepped into the river. But with each step, the child grew heavier. The waters rose higher, the current stronger, until Reprobus felt as though the entire world pressed down upon him. Fear gripped him. He thought they might both drown. With his last ounce of strength, he reached the far shore and gently set the child down, gasping for breath. "Child, you have put me in great danger. It felt as if I carried the whole world upon my shoulders. Who are you?" The child looked at him and replied, "You did carry the world upon your shoulders, and its creator as well. I am Jesus Christ, the King whom you seek. In serving the weakest of my children, you have served me." Then Christ said, "From this moment, your name shall no longer be Reprobus, but Christopher, the Christ-bearer. And so you will know that my words are true. Plant your staff into the ground." Part 5. The Martyrdom. When Christopher awoke the next morning, his dry wooden staff had miraculously sprouted into a living tree, covered in leaves and fruit. Filled with faith, Christopher began to travel, preaching the message of Christ. He eventually reached Lycia, modern-day Turkey, where Christians were being persecuted under the Roman Emperor Decius. Christopher was arrested and ordered to renounce his faith and sacrifice to the Roman gods. He refused. He was tortured in brutal ways, laid on red-hot iron, shot with arrows, which, according to legend, stopped mid-air or bounced off him. Yet nothing harmed him. Finally, enraged by his endurance, the emperor ordered his beheading. Christopher died as a martyr for his faith. The legacy of Saint Christopher. Because of his years spent carrying travelers across the dangerous river, Saint Christopher became the patron saint of travelers. To this day, drivers, sailors, pilots, and wanderers carry medals or images of him, depicting the giant with the Christ child upon his shoulders as a symbol of protection on the journey ahead. His story reminds us that true strength does not lie in serving earthly kings or dark powers, but in humble service to others, especially to those who cannot stand on their own.